with Elizabeth today, so we want to get right to her. Elizabeth Mahusay is with us here this morning. She is a leadership expert and author of the best-selling book, Pick Your Path, working with companies and organizations from coast to coast on improving employee engagement. Boy, what a time to talk to her, huh?
Yeah.
Our conversation this morning, presented by Marcus and Mack, voted best law firm and best personal injury lawyer 3 years in a row in the Best of Indiana County contest. Visit them online at marcusandmack.com. Elizabeth, I could be on with you for an hour. My goodness.
We could probably have some really good conversation.
Hey, Elizabeth, workplace conversations, when they come around to politics, people have different reactions. Some people run screaming. Some people hide under the desk. Some people engage. It can be a pretty volatile situation, can't it?
It can, and there's just a growing number of Americans that are just trying to avoid it altogether, whether they don't show up in the workplace or they're just choosing to not speak to their coworkers because of those differing views. It's definitely a growing trend in the workplace.
Now, that being the case, is there a right and a wrong way to approach it?
Well, I think, of course, I'm always careful when, we come definitively because there are so many different variables that go into a workplace culture. What I would say is that I believe so many leaders believe that it's just easier to ban difficult conversations rather than empowering or assisting people in successfully having those more challenging conversations. And so that's always my encouragement, is find ways to empower people to be able to engage in what I like to call civil discourse. Mm-hmm. I believe it's something that we've gotten away from and we need to engage more in. Yeah.
Bosses are of course, they're the ones who are really going to be on the edge here because it affects workplace production. It affects workplace atmosphere and can have really long-term effects, can't it?
Yes, it can. And see, that's the challenge when, when employees are avoiding other employees because of political views. It means they're not engaging in collaboration. They're not really speaking forthrightly, which can then impact their ability to work well together. And that is impacting the productivity because we need each other to be successful in our current workspace. So it's so true, and I think leaders shy away from it because they're concerned about the HR implications of it, which is why I believe it's important that we find ways to help people learn how to have crucial conversations well.
Yeah, well, that's the challenge of it. And for a lot of folks, it's just, put your head down and wait until Wednesday because then the election will be over. But it really won't be because there will be plenty of after the event conversations that are going on. But in the bottom line, you really have to learn to get along. And personalities are really going to be tested, aren't they?
They are, and that's, I think, to your point, yes, I think we want to believe it's going to be over after Tuesday or come Wednesday, but I do agree wholeheartedly that it will continue, and of course we'll have additional or future election cycles. So that's why it's important. It's important to start looking at how can we be able to find the common ground where we can. Maybe it's agreeing to disagree, but specifically that we're willing to listen to learn versus, I saw it said, listen to learn rather than listen to win. And so that's, I think, an important piece for us going forward.
Is the best strategy team meeting type of atmosphere, or are there specific things that bosses can do to try to calm the atmosphere down?
Yeah, well, team meeting could be one approach in, providing communication skills, whether it's training or reminding of that. I think the other place for that, too, is the one-on-one between the leader and an individual. If they're observing that they're struggling to either engage or they're engaging in a way that's demeaning or disrespectful, those conversations held one-to-one are an opportunity to really uncover what's going on there and also to empower them to be more effective in their communication. So those would be two pieces. But I think most importantly, it's let's not ignore the elephant in the room, that which is causing the challenge, and be sure to get on the front side of it with our people.
Yeah, and I would think that as well, a part of it would be recognizing that here's a situation coming up in a couple of months or even 6 months from now that is has the potential to be disruptive, and so let's deal with it now and be aware of what's coming. It's an awareness thing too, isn't it?
Yeah, agreed. And see, when we have an awareness and we can be on the front side, then we can empower people. Like one of the things that I like to say is, to encourage people, be curious. If someone says something about which you disagree, ask a question about it. Tell me, something as simple as, tell me more, or what makes you say that, or what makes that important to you. It's asking questions that allow us to be able to gain a broader perspective on what someone is thinking versus just responding with a more retaliation type of comment. So it is helpful to help people know how they can respond or engage in conversation in a meaningful and respectful way.
Elizabeth has to go. She has another call coming. Elizabeth, people want to learn more. What do they need to do?
They can subscribe to my podcast, Thinking That Matters. And, of course, they can pick up my book on Amazon, Pick Your Path, where I really walk you through how you can pick a better path of thinking, which would also empower leaders to help their people think more productively and engage in conversation more productively. All
right, Elizabeth. Thank you so much. Get out of here, will you?
All right, thanks so much. Bye.
Elizabeth Mahusay with us here this morning from Fox, and it's spelled Mahusay if you want to look her up, check out her podcast, get her book. It's Indiana in the Morning, and it is WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, and WCCSradio.com.